To shift the needle.
Everybody get up.
Go forth and explore.
Let's start talking about investment in regional infrastructure.
So we need to identify an approach, which might be a SPV, also looking at the refinancing or alternative financing and fast tracking of a delivery.
We need to do our financing to the projects who can have the big impact in our social population.
We collaborated with a number of industry leaders to understand how can we grow and develop projects to completion within Africa. So hence why we've put up a platform that allows the conversation between, the private and public sector to allow them to engage directly on what is the way forward in the future of infrastructure in Africa.
Well, for me, what is very exciting is that the private sector has created a platform for conversations, for dialogues about a complex and difficult issue of infrastructure delivery. We know that globally there are millions and billions, trillions of rands invested in infrastructure. And to that extent, conversations such as these ones, particularly coming from the private sector, they create a very rare platform and opportunity for us to have dialogue, for the benefit of growing our economies, of creating capital assets, of improving the quality of lives of the people.
Forums like this are important for us to be able to share and go beyond that. It's you can't just marvel at the Gauteng and then we don't ask the question, how are we going to do that again? How are we going to be able to at least rebuild Prasa from scratch and all of that? And forums like this, one is we have to make sure that we get together. And we get together and understand and analyze where project development has failed. Devac allows us to be able to not only share, but to also question each other on, the kind of plans we're making. Do they make sense and don't they make sense?
In terms of just looking at industry and government, academia, engaging, looking for solutions to some of the challenges that we are facing. I think it is a necessary confidence to support, and I want to encourage people to participate.
It's a very important conversation for us to have because infrastructure is really critical for our economic growth as a strategy, in terms of where we take South Africa. And we as sponsors, as West Group, we really believe in this initiative and would like to continue supporting it.
The future of Africa and its investment and us growing jobs and us having the social impact and the compact that we need lies in infrastructure. You cannot do any other thing if you do not do infrastructure. So we would like to invite everybody to be able to say, come and look at our projects. Come and question us about what we haven't done right. And let's move the water to the ecology. You cannot continue with the social commentary from far. You have to come in and invest in Africa.
So I think what people can look forward into when I give my speech is the technology. So we're more coming to introduce or to inform people about our technology, how it works and how it can fit into the South African market and how it can also try and resolve these challenges that we are facing in our country.
The continent is ready to invest in projects. And as we know, projects, create jobs, enable connectivity, enable economic growth, and every other benefit that comes with such initiatives.
To see the openness with which, the participants are engaging with, and it was an amazing opportunity to highlight some of the good work that we're doing as South African Oil and Gas Alliance?
That we begin to communicate. We begin to talk to each other. And it's important that we, because human communication, 67% of human communication is actually in body language. So it's important that people are together and start talking about things, and eyeball to eyeball. Then you begin to understand how the reasoning pattern.
We are open to the continent and whatever country that's going to be needing this type of platform in order to not only to attract investors, but as I mentioned earlier, to talk, discuss about innovative solutions, potential partnerships and so on to further the economy of their respective countries or, the continent in general. We will be always ready to go into those countries.
Devac stands for Development of the African Continent. So now what we look at certain industry sectors that can contribute to the GDP of South Africa and the rest of the African market.
Know that in South Africa now we're busy with a very strong renewable energy program. We have to, there's no choice to it. But that program needs to be propped up by products, by solar panels or wind turbines, which we're manufacturing already in the area. So I think it's a question of an SEZ designed not for the present, but designed for the future in delivering of green tech manufacturing.
Commitment from the Presidency's office with a commitment from national government, provincial government, and also at local level. It's important that we bring in private partnerships and we do this together because we all want, to build a working South Africa, which then translates into a working Africa.
Look, the issue is how much contribution everybody has to make towards the growth of the society and the economy and the benefit to us all. And we by excluding a certain group in the society, which unfortunately is more than half of the society, it means that we're losing on the potential dividends that we can benefit from as a society. So if we're looking for growth, we need to take into consideration that everybody has a contribution to make. Everybody has the value to put on the table. And those are some of the things that we need to be decisive about, be intentional about. So leadership, as we go into what do we need to do to advance growth, we need to make sure that everybody is taken along.
Infrastructure, the way we view it, and I'm sure you all agree, for infrastructure to be of a high quality, it must be economic, efficient, convenient, sustainable, safe and resilient, and of course, inclusive.
As more of the same is built, we enable economies of scale. So the Gauteng is only 82 kilometers, and therefore we can't build a factory, for instance, to support that. It wouldn't be sustainable. But if you have more rapid rail networks spread on the continent, you then create, it doesn't matter what country it is, but you create potential of economies of scale, and therefore you create new industries. Again, we talk about economic growth, jobs, etc. So I think the biggest takeaway for me here is the potential that lies in Africa in terms of infrastructure, the need for technology to enable the development of this infrastructure, and the need for skilling. So I think all of us need to continue learning and readying ourselves to be available to contribute to the cause.
The guy who actually came up with the whole thing, Sean, I don't know him like this. I know him in his personal life. So I think seeing him at work and seeing what he has created has really touched me in a sense that he has created legacy. Whatever happens from now on, Sean, whatever you have created now, we are going to be having these discussions. All of us in this room, the many hundreds of people that actually came in, are all leaving inspired and asking for a day 3 out of this. And they're asking for, when do we do this again?
Young people are stuck in waithood. They are waiting for a lot of people who are probably older than them to resolve some of the tensions that exist amongst themselves. They sit in boardrooms, they sit in parliament, they sit in interesting places. And they are waiting for them to let us into the room so that we can be part of the solution.
But what I found most informative and impressive is that I think everyone who spoke, we spoke towards a common theme, and that theme, simply put, is about getting countries to align in terms of policy, in terms of strategic intent, to enable economic growth by investing in projects.
So I'd like to really thank the team. We worked so hard, as always, and it's at the end of the day, as you say, success is just feeling great about delivering such an event. Yes. See you at Devac Infrasfuture 2023.